Right, so back with another episode, Brad. Talk about space. Is there anything out there? Oh yeah, of course there is. There's planets. I don't think that was the question.
Is there anything else out there?
I'm gonna say yes, because it's stupid to say no, if you think about it. Like, there has to be something. So, let's put it this way. So, for every grain of sand on every beach on the planet, that represents a star. Which means
That's
planets
a
could,
lot of stars.
which means planets could be orbiting. Exactly. The numbers are reasonably large, we'll say. Which is quite weird that we... Well, we haven't found life yet, but how far can we search, really? Like, we probably searched like 0.0000001% of space. And we haven't actually searched it, we just looked at it.
Yeah.
So the chances are, yeah, we're not alone. Or we could be. Do you think that? The planet's like 4 billion years old or some stupid number, yeah? I think it's older than that. Let's say intelligent life needs 500 million years to form.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be like 2.5 billion years ago. So all the intelligent life could have lived, survived 500,000 years, and that would be a billion years ago. We could just be too late to find any life.
Yeah, that's true.
Or we could
Here
be
you go, you have messed with his head.
No, we could be a nursery planet. If you know what that is.
Yeah, basically we're like a planet that some higher hierarchy are watching.
Yeah, like they know we exist, but we're just still too much like dumb apes for them to care. Because we're not really that intelligent as a species. We still fight pointlessly in wars. We still have hungry people. We're still polluting the planet beyond belief to the point we're killing the planet. Maybe we're just too dumb still.
But then if we're too dumb and the other people are watching, why didn't they come down and just say, look, do this, and then fuck off again?
Because I have a very good analogy. Okay, that's like putting a nuclear power plant back in the 1600s and telling them to work it out. They're gonna kill themselves before they work it out.
Yeah.
They might work out how to turn it on, but they don't know how it works. So they're gonna kill themselves with radiation. So maybe their technology is so advanced that if they dropped it to us, dude, we'd be like, what the fuck is that? Like if you went back 100 years and gave somebody an iPhone, dude, they'd think you're a wizard. They're not going to know how it works. Most people on the planet now don't know how their phone works.
Yeah.
Like if I gave you all the pieces to an iPhone, every chip, would you know exactly how to put it together to make it work?
No.
Most Apple employees couldn't do that.
No?
Well, no, because most of them don't actually build the phone, do they? The designers know, the engineers know, and the people who like control the robots to make it. They're the ones who know how the phone goes together and why it goes that way.
Yeah.
Most Apple employees don't know how that works. So you saying why don't they tell us what to do? Well, maybe we don't have an understanding of how their technology even looks. Like, could you imagine an alien communication device? Does it have to be a phone, or could it just be they could talk through their mind because they're that advanced? So maybe we don't even know how to communicate with them. Maybe you have to send thoughts to communicate with them. They don't use their mouth. Well, they could send thoughts to us, which would freak us out because we'd think there's a fucking voice in my head, but we wouldn't know how to send anything back. So it'd be a one-way conversation.
So would that be like that? So I remember I was watching something, and there was like a wow signal or something for somewhere, and still nobody cares what it is.
Yeah, the radio waves.
Yeah.
Well, we don't need to know what it is. If it's a repeatable signal, then we know it's man-made or alien-made. It's not natural if it's a repeating signal.
Hmm.
But humans are also very stupid because we sent out, so we look for repeating signals to find life on other planets. So let's use the
Yeah.
WoW signal. It'd have to repeat, so say every month, every 2 months, every year, whatever the time period is. But we send out signals to let aliens know where we are. But we've sent that signal once. We'd never repeat our own signal.
So basically, we've only sent one message up, and that's it.
Yeah, which could just bounce off a planet and go into nowhere. We're not repeating our own signal.
Hmm.
But is it wise to repeat a signal? Because, and I don't mean we're going to get invaded or anything, but there's radio waves in space all the time. Comes off planets, suns, things like that. What if us constantly sending a signal out interferes with that and fucks something up? Like I'm not saying we have enough power to blow out the sun with radio signals, but what if planets somehow need radio signals to work? Like our magnetosphere, the one that protects us from radiation. What if pumping shit ton of fucking radio signals at a direction kills another planet's protection from their star and kills the civilization? Because we don't know they're there. It'd be a complete accident. It's not like we're going, all right, let's kill that fucking planet, fuck that planet. But we could accidentally stop other life or interfere with the progress of life. Because if a civilization's just worked out radios, which we've had for 100+ years now, and they start picking up a signal from another planet, that could ruin their like predetermined path to become even more intelligent. Because that could scare them. It could be a fear thing. Like if we're pumping out signals saying this is our planet, interfere with them.
In other words, it could be for them. It could be like somebody's chatty, like rulers or something, or overturners or something.
Or it could cause a war. They could think it's if they act the same way we do. We have different countries that are always at war with each other. We could start a war and wipe out a planet accidentally with their nuclear weapons. But there's the other hand. What if advanced civilizations don't use radio because it's pointless and shit? Because it's short distance only.
True.
That's the thing. Pumping out signals is good. Like outside, I get hit by hundreds of signals from phones, radios, and that. Me as a person, I can't hear them, see them, feel them. So if they always talked through the mind, like telepathic sort of speaking, they'd never have built radios and that to pick up that signal either. Which could explain why we've never... Okay, we don't know there's aliens. Governments probably know more than we do. They're
keep it all hush hush.
Well, they're the government. I should hope they know more than I do about anything else. But I don't want to know more than a government because I'll be thinking, why the fuck are you in charge? The space is so big that in our lifetime, we're not even going to be able to see 1% of it. And I mean scientists, not us personally.
Yeah, see, do you think there's an end to the space that's like, that's it just cuts off? Or just continuous?
Well, space is always expanding, right? Since the Big Bang, it's expanded.
Yeah.
So, if you was on the very edge, would space overtake you, or would it keep pushing you? Would be my question. Because they say that space is infinite, but that's because our understanding of how big it is could be... We'd never understand it.
Yeah.
But if space is constantly expanding, it had to have started somewhere, which should give it a border, and it'd have to keep stretching out like a balloon. So it'd have to have an edge. But my thinking is, if let's say your planet formed right on the edge, and as it's expanding, like if you put a dot on a balloon and blow it up, that dot moves with it. Does space work the same, or does space just not move you and just keep going past you? Would you? Because we're moving now. We're not stationary. Our planet's constantly moving at like 6,000 kilometers per second. A stupid speed. But in terms of space, slow as fuck, not even enough to notice. So they say space is always expanding, but what speed? And how would we work that out?
I don't think there's an actual way to work that out, is there? Or
well, no, we work out distance to planets by light. How much when the light hits us and when it stops hitting us. But that brings up my question again: if space is expanding, does it push stars with it, or do the stars stay where they are and space goes faster? Because then we could track one star and think, okay, space is moving at whatever speed, but in reality, space is fucked off way past that, a million times faster than we thought.
Yeah.
So how would you measure the speed? We technically can't measure the speed of light. We don't actually really know it.
Because, like, what? Too fast or something? Or
Well,
could you even
no.
be slow?
Let's say we set up 2 clocks at a start and a finish
Yeah.
line. And we hit start exactly the same time, light hits the other one, and it automatically stops. Them clocks can fall out of sync. And also, do you measure light one way, or do you use a mirror to bounce it back? So you use one clock, which gets rid of the sync issue. But does light travel faster one direction and slower the other, and we average it out, and then we get speed of light wrong? Because the way we measure light, the speed of light now is with a mirror, because we get rid of the 2 clock problem.
Yeah.
But the question is, so let's say it took a minute for the light to get to the mirror and back. That doesn't mean it took 30 seconds to get there and 30 seconds back. It could have instantly got there and took that almost a whole minute to get back, because it's now reflecting, which would slow it down. If you throw a ball at a wall, it comes back slower than when you threw it, because some of it's absorbed.
The force in that.
Yeah, inertia. So, if you're measuring light the same way, they say light has no mass, but something has to be in that beam of light. If you get a laser, and let's say you do it in a dark room and you put loads of smoke in there, you can see the beam.
Yeah.
So it has to be something to keep that beam. So its mass might be too low to weigh, but technically it'd have mass because it moves. So could we be measuring the speed of light wrong?
We could be.
Which means, let's say something's 1 million light years away, which means it'd take 1 million years at the speed of light to get to it. But what if we're measuring light wrong and we can get there in half the time? Because when light comes back, it's slower than we thought. It's faster getting there, slower coming back. So could we get there faster? And in reality, speed of light going a place is instant, but coming back is super slow, which would change how long it take to get to these places. 12 minutes in, I've confused them. It's a good start.
I'm easily confused.
Sounds about right. But it's true, isn't it? Like, if we're measuring it in 2 different ways. And also, people say we could never get to the speed of light. I mean, you're right. It'd probably tear a human apart. But people said we could hit the speed of sound. And we can go 2-3 times the speed of sound now.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's say 50 years, we could get maybe half the speed of light. Then another 50 years, 3/4 the speed of light. Is there an actual end point to how fast we can propel an object?
Probably not.
Because there is a theory that you can get near speed of light without propulsion. It's a light sail. Same way we use wind to move a boat. We could use light to move an object. It has to be super reflective, really thin, really light. But we could do it, in theory. And also, we consider speed going into space with the combustible materials we use now, rocket fuel. What if rocket fuel's not that efficient? Yeah. What if we could find something way more efficient that burns cleaner, faster, which would give you more speed? Because we use hydrogen mainly in rocket fuel.
Yeah.
Which means you need hydrogen and oxygen to actually let it burn. Well, what if we don't need the oxygen? What if we don't need the hydrogen? What if we can what if there's a solid fuel we could use? Because if it's more efficient, which means if we can put the same amount on as we have hydrogen now, we can go twice the distance if it's more efficient. If it's twice the efficiency. Twice the burn time. So could we just keep going?
Possibly.
Obviously, there's an end point. We can't infinitely travel. We'd die. Human life doesn't last long enough. Which is our biggest problem. Humans die average at about 72. So it'd need multiple generations to get somewhere. But the problem is, if we ever had to return. So let's say we were going to a planet and it'd take 3 generations to get there. So you'd have kids, they'd carry it on, they'd have kids, their kids would carry it on. Coming back, it'd need 3 generations again, but Earth wouldn't be where it used to be because we're still moving. So could we ever get back?
Most likely not.
Because if we stay in our own solar system, piss easy, we can see the planet.
Yeah.
So if you start jumping solar systems, it just becomes a dot in the distance. Like a speck of dust on a screen. Like 1 pixel in a photo. It'd get that hard to work out where Earth is.
Yeah.
Because we only know where Earth is because we're on it and we can see what's around us.
Yeah.
As soon as you fuck off and can't see the Earth, the Sun, Jupiter, Mars, Uranus, any of them, you're fucked. How are you going to work out which one's Earth again? You can't say, well, we could take a picture. Well, pictures only work if you're looking at the same angle again.
Yeah.
Once the angle changes, the perception changes. I mean, for all we know, it could be a snow globe. It could all be fake. My one is on, not fake though.
I just think we're in a big box. Well, not a big box, but a box that keeps expanding slowly and slowly.
Okay, what shape do you think the universe is? Because when you think expanding, you think a circle. Because it'd expand evenly. Let's say you had, I don't know, like a 3D printer. It's probably the easiest way I can do this. And you had to print the shape of the universe. Would you go like a rectangle that keeps stretching? A ball? I'd go flat. I'm not saying the Earth's flat, but if you put the universe flat, it'd be easier to point out like we do with a map. So could the universe be flat? Because that doesn't mean it's thin.
Yeah, it could be quite thick.
Yeah. If you get a piece of wood, it can be flat but chunky. It'd be straight. So could the universe be flat?
Possibly.
Also, this one will mess with your brain. So if there's infinite universe, if the world's infinite, the universe is infinite. There's only a certain amount of particles and finite things they can turn into, like trees, animals, cars, whatever.
Yeah.
Does that mean parallel universes have to be real? Because it'd mean it'd have to duplicate at some point. Like a combination. There's only so many different ways that combination can be put in before you get it right. Therefore, the pattern would have to duplicate if you carried that on and on and on and on and on.
True.
So does that prove parallel universes have to be real because it'd have to repeat somewhere? Because even if you think every different colour in the rainbow, there could be humans of every colour in the rainbow. But then the colours would stop. You'd stop having new colours. So that colour then somewhere have to duplicate.
Yeah.
You can only turn into a certain amount of animals. Even if you had like 10 legs, 11 legs, 4 million legs. It'd get to the point it'd still have to duplicate because the number would stop. Yeah, it could take trillions and trillions of attempts to make it duplicate, but it would mean it has to duplicate. There's only so many ways you can write down 1 to 10 in an order before it duplicates. So you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do it in reverse, then jumble the numbers up all different random ways. It'd eventually duplicate. Does that mean parallel universes have to be real? Because there's finite things particles can turn into. Which means at some point, it'd have to duplicate itself. Like we see in nature, 2 different sides of the planets could have the same animals that look slightly different. Spiders are a big one. There's millions of different spiders, but the species ends up duplicating even though they're not near each other. We can't use humans because we all came from Africa. We just changed to match our surroundings.
Yeah.
But weirdly, humans can be born a certain way. You could have 2 eyes, 1 eye. You could have your limbs missing. You could have all your limbs. the pattern duplicates.
Yeah.
Because if the pattern didn't have to duplicate, you'd think humans could turn into all sorts of weird shit. There could be a baby born with 12 arms, no bones, and can fit through the sides of a fucking screw hole or something. The pattern duplicated. Now, our genes have something to do with that, but our genes can go a certain amount of different ways. There's only certain mutations that humans can have before it duplicates again. So does that prove parallel universes have to be real? Because
It's good to know. Like...
using maths, it'd have to. Because, again, there's only a certain amount of times a pattern can be different before it starts to duplicate.
Mm-hmm.
So you could, if you blow that into space terms, there's only so many different planets before one would have to duplicate. Because there's only a certain amount of particles and they have to go in all different ways. And then it'd stop because everything's been made. So after that, would we start getting duplicates? Now, I'm not saying that it would be in a perfect order, so it's to be symmetry. But it would be patches of duplication everywhere.
Just imagine another you in another world somewhere.
Dude, I'll be ruling the world somewhere. I'll be like king of the world. But I think duplications already happened and we can't see it now. But we know it happened. Mars used to look like Earth. Was that a duplicate?
Look what happened to that.
But look what we're doing to our planet.
True.
And
We're
also,
messing our planet up.
just as something duplicates doesn't mean it's always going to have the same outcome. Twins don't do everything the same all the way through life. One could be a doctor, one could work in a circus. They still duplicated, but you can still stray your own way because personality doesn't have to duplicate. People can duplicate, but personality doesn't have to.
In other words, what you're saying is, if there is another parallel universe, Mars will be like our equivalent to Earth right now we're sitting, and Earth could be Mars or something.
It could be even simpler. It could be just be another Earth, but it doesn't. The countries don't look the same. They're different shapes. The people don't look the same. They could be super tall, super short. They could be tiny. But the pattern's still duplicated because something still matches.
There could be animals ruling the world over the humans.
Yeah, but the Earth duplicated, but it doesn't mean everything in Earth has to duplicate with it. The same way we could find bacteria on Earth and find it on another planet. They'd never been in contact, but the bacteria duplicated, but the planet didn't. So duplication still occurred, but it happened on a different planet. So let's say I found bacteria on Earth and I found the same one on Mars or Jupiter or the moon. The bacteria is the atoms that duplicated, but it happened in a different place. The planet didn't have to duplicate, but what's on the planet did duplicate itself. Because somewhere the pattern had to duplicate. It doesn't mean there's an identical match to every planet.
Yeah.
There could be another Earth, but not with the same shit on it. There could be more land than water. Everything could be flying. Humans could fly. Just because the Earth duplicated doesn't mean everything on the Earth had to duplicate with it. Because them numbers would get ridiculously hard to make happen. But if you completely randomize them, random duplications would happen. Could be a planet where everyone has a twin. Their water could be red. The leaves could be blue. The dirt might be yellow. But it might still have the same oxygen level. So the oxygen part duplicated.
But just know everything else.
Yeah. Because if you buy, let's say you buy, or you got a cow and you get 2 bottles of milk out of it. One could go bad before the other one, even if they're in the same place. And they both came from the same thing. But they don't always react the same way. The same way most kids have the same parents. But they don't go the same way as each other. All the parents. So one parent could be a doctor, one could be a teacher. One kid could become a mechanic. The other one works in Nando's. It doesn't mean they're following the same path. The same way with duplication. If you have 100 tennis balls and you throw them all in the air, they don't all land in the same place. They could bounce different ways.
True.
That's probably the easiest way to describe duplication.
Yeah.
So parts of the planets could duplicate.
Hmm.
We could find another Earth that has 2 moons. We have 1. Even though people say we have like 13, but no, they're asteroids, so they're not the same. Stupid people.
Then I wouldn't get in that argument with you.
Well, we could find a planet where humans are completely stupid, and we rely on animals to keep us alive. Same way your pets rely on you to keep them alive. You feed them, you give them water, keeps them alive. It could be the other way around. Or we could be the only intelligent life in the universe because, one, we were born too late and all the intelligent life has gone, or we're the first signs of intelligent life and everything else has to catch up. So there's different levels of intelligence that we look for. It's like a planetary thing. There's like level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. Level 1 being the lowest. Humans are at level 0.72. We haven't even hit 1 on our own scale. Which is good, because 50 years ago, we were like 0.1 on the scale. So we've bumped ourselves up quite a bit now.
Yeah.
But if we're using that scale, there could be thousands of planets with human-like intelligence, but we're not high enough on the scale for us to say intelligent life. If we don't class ourselves as high enough on the scale. And we send shit into space. We leave our planet. We've got motherfuckers around our planet right now in the space station. But we don't count that as intelligent. We can sustain life outside of the planet.
And yet we're still not intelligent.
Yeah. That's like taking a baby that's not fully formed out of the womb and then letting it just grow up. It wouldn't. It'd die. But we managed to do it outside of our safety net, which is the Earth.
Huh.
Which means, what are we looking for? Because intelligent life doesn't mean they can travel through space.
Yeah, they might not have got that far yet.
Or they already know the dangers. They realise too much radiation. Not worth the effort. Because every time we go out into space and we leave Earth's atmosphere, we're hit with radiation because our atmosphere protects us from the sun's radiation. Maybe all the other species have thought, okay, it's going to take, let's say they got faster cars, it's going to take us 10 years to get to this place. But the radiation we'd absorb in that 10 years isn't survivable. So I thought, what's the point in travelling now? What's the point in just going up to space to come back down? If we're going to space, we might as well go to another planet, but the dangers are too high because of radiation. Why risk our people?
True. In other words, we're just the dumb people that just do everything first.
Well, it's not that. Humans are inherently want to be on top. We want to be better than everything else.
Yeah.
Which is good for, like, inventing shit. Like, if you invent something, somebody on this planet's going to want to go, I can beat him, I can do that better. And then we get advancements. So that's great for that. Terrible because we kill people for the same reason. We have wars about it. Which is why I think humans are still stupid. If we can't even agree, all life's sacred, we should look after all humans, don't let any human down, go hungry, die. I don't think we can get too far. Because there's another theory that every intelligent life kills itself. Because of greed. But maybe if we remove the greed, there'd be more intelligent life. This could also be a reason aliens, if they are real, haven't contacted us because they think they're not capable. They haven't realised that working together is more efficient and better at each other. If I'm working on a project and I want to beat everybody, so I don't want anyone to know about the project. I'm just working on my own. If I don't care about being the best, there could be 1,000 people that could make this work 10 times faster and way better than I could. But because I didn't want anyone to know because I wanted to be better than them, I didn't tell anybody to get that help. Maybe that's humanity's biggest problem. That's why aliens haven't done anything with us. Because maybe alien species all work together. There's no, I'm better than you. It's, we are one. Together, we're better than on our own. which humans still don't do. So maybe that's why nothing's come to us yet, because they've realised, they're not that smart. They still think
No
that,
point in helping them.
yeah, they still see the world as, we need to better them. I'm better than you. You're lower than me, so that means we shouldn't talk because I'm higher up than you. Where aliens could be like, there's no level. We're all one. And then that's when life
One
works.
peaceful race, basically.
It doesn't even have to be peaceful. There's still going to be arguments. No matter what you do, there's going to be quarrels in life. Because
but no as bad as what we're facing.
Well, yeah, it won't
basically.
be. It just doesn't mean it has to be genocide. Like, you can get pissed off at an inanimate object. Let's say your phone won't work, it won't charge, or won't turn on. You start getting pissed off, stupid fucking phone. Well, it's not stupid. It doesn't have intelligence.
It's you that's stupid.
Well, no, it
basically.
could just be it wore out. Things wear out.
Yeah, well, things wear out quickly nowadays.
Well, yeah, because it's planned obsolescence. It's planned to break. That's how businesses make money. This brings me on to the first podcast that we did about aliens, yeah. Bob Lazar. You know who he is?
Yep, I've watched everything about him.
Now, if what he's talking about is true, 1, incredible. 2, not that surprised. 3, he could prove that we're just too slow. Because the tortoise and the hare wouldn't work. The tortoise would still lose. No matter how many breaks the hare would have to take, because it could accelerate faster.
Yeah.
So is it just, we're just too slow? Thinking wise, we could just be mentally too slow. The answer could be staring at us right in the face, but we're just too slow to notice it until it's too late. Because I think Bob Lazar's legit. Because nearly all the shit he spoke about in the 70s, 80s, whatever it was, I can't remember now, has now come out to be true. The hand scanner that measures the bones in your fingers, they used to be a thing. Biometrics is way smarter than that now. It's fingerprint and eyes, but it used to be your hand. Element 115 wasn't on any periodic table. No one knew about it. He spoke about it, and now we can make it in a lab, but we can only make about 1 gram of it before it explodes. We can't make it stable. But the composition of it is exactly how he said it was. How would he have known that? Yes, he was a scientist, but we didn't have the ability to even attempt to make something like that back then. So how did he know?
So who told him then about it?
Well, it's not who told him. It's how did he
Or how
know
did he
about it? Because let's say we're gambling people, and we're going to play odds. If I tell you 10 things that I've made up, 1 of them could come true. 1 in 10.
Yeah.
If I tell you 5 things, the odds are now lower because it's 1 in 5. That's even harder to hit on the head. Let's say 1 of 1. Almost impossible. But he did it. Because everything he said came out to be true. So that means it's not 1 in 5, 1 in 10. Even if he said 10 things, that means it's 1 in 1 because everything was right. So every time he got it right, so 1 to 1.
Every time he spoke about something, it was always like, People are like questioning him, and then they see it's coming to life. It's like, wait, what? How?
Well, at first, when I first saw the first interview with him, I thought he's full of shit.
I thought he was a psycho.
Well, the reason I thought he was full of shit is because, 1, what he was saying at the time was made up. I'm not saying it was not real, but no one knew about it. Like the element and that, it wasn't an element, so then it was made up. Pretty much, it could have been imaginary for all we know.
Yeah.
His body language seemed too cocky. Like, look at these idiots believing shit. But as the years have gone on, and I've watched more and more, his story doesn't change. It slightly changes, and he says the human brain's not the best. These things happened 30 years ago. My memory's not that great.
Yeah.
So I think I saw something compared to years ago. He said that happened. He says now, well, yeah, I look at it and I look at it through different eyes. Maybe it wasn't quite what I saw. Like when he said, people say he's full of shit 'cause he said he saw an alien. He didn't. He said he saw something in a window for a split second. It could be anything. People took that as he saw an alien. He goes, no. I walked past it and had a quick glance. Now I look back on it, it probably wasn't an alien. It's probably the stuff they've told me and my mind getting excited. So his story
Yeah.
doesn't change. He's sort of just maturing. But if what he's saying is true, and he said one of these spaceships was a archaeological dig, which, okay, he didn't say this, but this makes me think: did humans start here? Did we start on this planet? Because if you look at other animals on this planet, we don't really fit. We're not good swimmers. Our planet's full of water.
No.
We're not good runners. Our planet's full of predators that can outrun us at the blink of an eye. But we're on top. We keep them in cages. They don't keep us in cages. It's like we don't belong here. We stand upright. Most animals walk on all fours.
Yeah, that's why we come from, like, apes and that.
Yeah, but even if you look at an ape, okay, we look kind of similar. We act kind of similar. But they're far stronger. They still walk on all fours most of the time. They're shorter than us with more muscle, which you'd get from strong gravity. It's like we don't belong here. We came from somewhere else. And if the UFOs were ancient digs or archaeological digs, that could have crashed here thousands of years ago, 20,000, 30,000 years. That's a long time for us. Well, that's a long time for us to forget that where we came from.
See, that's what could have caused the dinosaurs to die off. An alien, alien spaceship hitting Earth too fast or something.
Us invading because we killed our first planet. Or our first planet was eaten by a star, the sun. Because we don't look like we belong here.
No.
If you look at fish, streamlined. Look at animals, streamlined. Apart from apes, super strong. They can protect themselves because of their strength, but they're way shorter than us. Like we could outweigh an ape, like a big power lifter. Could outweigh an ape, be bigger, taller, nowhere near as strong. Why does the ape need that strength? Because of gravity. Why are humans so tall? Okay, there's giraffes and stuff like that. But they walk on all fours again. How are we, standing upright, 2 feet on the ground, hands by our sides, so tall? Also, look at the intelligence of every other animal. People say we come from apes. Okay, I see the resemblance. I'm not going to deny it. You know, body size, pretty much the same, like proportion-wise. Same body style, 2 feet, 2 hands. Facial features, the way their ears are. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and plus, apes are the only animals with thumbs.
No. Whales and orcas do. They have hands in their fins. Because they're mammals. They used to be on. If you ever look at an X-ray, kind of freaks you out. But I see the resemblance to monkeys, apes, gorillas. But I can look at you and say, you've got 2 hands, I've got 2 hands, you've got 2 feet, I've got 2. We resemble each other. We're not related. Cats and dogs, both walk on all fours, both pretty fast, both predators. They're not the same. They're different.
True.
So could it be coincidence? Could it be that pattern duplicating? That means we look like monkeys.
That just threw a spanner in the works.
If you think about it, yeah, we've invented a lot of shit. Stuff we don't really need, but we have. Like TVs. We don't need a TV. Nice to have. Don't need them to survive. Why did we make them? Because we can. Why are we so much more advanced than almost every other animal? I say almost because there's some animals that still aren't discovered on the planet, so you never know. We could not be the smartest. How did we become top dog? In a world where we could be ripped apart. Look at an elephant. We keep them in cages. That could just step on us. We're dead. It wouldn't even notice it killed us.
Yeah.
So why would we become top dog?
Hmm.
Because we use our intelligence. We realize we can outsmart these animals. We don't have to be faster, stronger, but we're smarter. That tiger could rip me apart, but we've invented guns. We could just kill it.
Hmm.
We used our intelligence. But where did that come from? If we come from apes, why don't apes have that same level of intelligence?
Oh, this has just got me thinking now. Kind of, you were talking about parallel universes and that.
Yeah, we could have come from one.
Yeah, but what I'm thinking about now is the movie Planet of the Apes.
Where apes are smarter than us.
Yeah,
But
that could be another parallel universe. Apes are the
are
dominant
apes
species.
lying? Are apes acting stupid because they realise we reward them for that and we'll look after them? Because we see them as they need our help.
Hmm, true.
You ever seen one of these people who think they've got every illness? They hear about a new illness and they're like, oh shit, I've got a migraine. Maybe I've got a brain tumour.
Yeah.
If we're all smart, why wasn't that bred out?
Hmm.
But let's say your sister thinks she gets any illness she reads about, but your parents don't think that way. Where did that come from? Surely that would be bred out. Because if humans needed to survive, we had to fight to survive. Fear eventually gets bred out. You ever seen a cat? A cat will chase anything, even if it's bigger. There's videos on the internet of cats chasing bears. That bear'd kill it. But the cat knows it fit in itself. I can take that.
Oh, what's that video? The cat chasing the bear.
Dude, there's loads. There's a cat who scared the shit out of a lion. They're looking at each other and the
Wait,
cat
what?
tries to attack the lion.
Wait, but
Yeah.
the lion will just eat it.
Yeah, but cats are fearless because they needed that to keep themselves alive. They had to think, I can beat that bigger animal.
Hmm.
Why don't we see that? Why are some humans scared of things that we could just dead? Spiders. I know some people are scared of spiders. I'm like, just dead. You beat it.
See, that's like Kelly. She's scared of anything that flies. Even if it's a wee tiny fly.
But that's what
You're
I'm
like, get
saying.
that fucking away from me.
Why wasn't that bred out of us?
Hmm.
We have all this intelligence. We can communicate. Right now, we're in different locations, but we can see each other and talk. So we're clearly smart. But why are we still so stupid and scared of things that can't hurt us? See, the fear of the dark one, that's natural. We can't see predators in the dark. Because we can't see in the dark. That one I understand. That's why a lot of kids are scared of the dark. When they become adults, they're like, okay, there's not actually anything there. I'll be fine. Because we got smarter about it. But why are these things still present? Predators don't have that. So will we ever predators? Yeah, we can hunt, but why? We know we can eat things that don't move. Plants.
Hmm.
So why do humans... That's what I'm saying. Humans don't belong here. It's like we were dropped here and just made the best of a worse situation.
Yeah.
Because humans build
Came
houses.
through the black hole.
Well, no, humans build houses, right? White holes emit light, and they're only theory at the moment. Black holes absorb light. But if we build houses, we build structures to keep ourselves safe. A lion just lays in the fucking grass. Like, I'm sleeping here tonight. Anybody comes near me, I'm fucking it up.
Yeah.
Why do we build? No other animal builds this way. You could say birds build nests, yeah, but that's not a big superstructure. That's way bigger than they need.
Ant farm?
They're a colony. They're building for safety to protect the queen. But we built... So, most people use their house to sleep.
Yeah.
So why can I buy a house that's got like 16 bedrooms, 4 floors? I don't need that just to sleep.
True.
Something the size of a tent is big enough to sleep in. So why do we build these structures? And if we really came from the animal kingdom, why do we understand currency so well and feelings? You could say currency is being taught to us, but feelings aren't taught to you.
Feelings are just natural, basically.
People fall in love, but in the animal world, they just fuck to breed. Most of the time, they breed and fuck off. So why do humans get attached? It's like something's in us that doesn't belong here. And I think humans know it. Without realising it. Because we can't swim. Well, we can swim, but we can't dive like a normal animal. We can't fly. We have no ability. Like some animals can see in the dark, use echolocation, hit ridiculous hear, ridiculous sense of smell. We have shit sight, shit hearing, shit smell,
Mm-hmm.
shit strength, shit endurance. Okay, we're the most. We could outrun any animal if there's infinite distance. Because most animals can only run for about an hour, 2 hours before they have to stop to cool down. Humans sweat, we cool down way quicker, we can keep going.
Yeah.
That's all we can outdo animals with. That's why we have weapons. So if the spaceship was an archaeological dig, does that, and we came from it, it explains why we don't fit here. And why were these like ancient, like astrologers? How did they know about the planet system before we had telescopes to see it? They could map out the planets. There's Egyptian drawings of the planets mapped out, and they're almost exactly spot on. Where would we have got that knowledge if we can't look up? Like I can look up in the sky right now. I can't. It's a bit sunny. But even after seeing a picture of the planets, and I looked up the sky, I couldn't point out any of them planets. I can point out the sun, the moon. That's about as far as I can get. But they could map it out without seeing a picture first. Where do we got that knowledge from? Unless it's already imprinted in us because we had to get here first. So we needed that knowledge of the planets and the system.
So basically, they had like sat nav of the sky instantly.
Well, they mapped it out. So you had to have some kind of knowledge to map anything out. Like, if you said to me, "How do you get to the shop from my house?" I could tell you because I've done it. But if you said, "How do I get to the shop from your house?" I wouldn't have a clue. Just go look would be my answer. Just guess.
Look at the window.
Yeah. Well, let's say you said to me, "From your house right now, how do you get to Asda?" I don't know where an Asda is near you. I'd never be able to map that for you unless I looked at a Google map. So a map. I couldn't personally say, go out your door, go left, go right. I wouldn't know. But the ancients knew about the planet system without being able to see it. So was that already imprinted? And if the spaceship was an archaeological dig, we would have evolved on this planet. So we could have been the little grey aliens, and we evolved to this to survive the planet. So does that mean aliens that are coming are still related to us? If aliens are coming to our planet.
True.
Because why are we so good at certain things? Like, we're so fast learning. When I was a kid, smartphones weren't a thing. Now I can program a smartphone. How did I learn that so quick?
It's imprinted in you somehow.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, you can learn anything so quick. We're the only species that has multiple languages. My guess is in London alone, there's at least 300 languages spoken.
It's a lot.
There's like 25,000 languages on this planet for humans. Which, if you think about it, is not a lot when you think about it. Tribes have their own. Each tribe has their own. Some are only spoken, not wrote down. But why do we have so many different languages? If it's just evolution, we all came from Africa originally. If humans started on this planet. So surely we'd all speak the same. Why would our language change? I speak the language my mom spoke to me as a kid. If I have kids, I'm going to speak to them in the same language. It wouldn't be changing.
Yeah.
So why is there so many different languages? If we originated on this planet, like a lot of people think, we all came from Africa, which is accepted. We all have different languages. Different ideas is understandable. Me, my brother, and my sisters don't think the same. But we speak the same. My two sisters who have kids are going to teach their kids the same way to speak.
Yeah, obviously.
Even if they moved, like let's say there was nobody else on the planet, it's just one family. Even if you're moved, okay, there has to be two families, otherwise that's incest. But if you're moved, the languages stay the same because that's what you were taught. So why do we all have different languages?
True.
My neighbour one side is Polish. My neighbour the other side's Indian. So there's two languages either side of me. But if we all came from one place, Why is there in three houses next to each other 3 languages? Surely we'd all speak the same. I mean, both sides can speak English, so we all share one common language. But if we all came
Yeah.
from the same place, which was Africa, wouldn't we all have just one language?
Yes.
Why would there be such a difference? This could get even weirder. Wales is attached to the UK. Well, it's in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
But there's Welsh, there's English, there's Irish, there's Celtic. But we're all attached. We're all physically attached islands. Why, if I drive 2 hours or however long it takes me to get to Wales, why is there another language there? When Wales and England, Ireland, and Scotland have all come to this like island together. Why would the languages split again? This is what fascinates me about language. It splits. Some languages die. Latin's a dead language.
Yeah.
Because there's only
like
about 200.
Gaelic
Yeah.
as well.
Because there's only a few hundred people who can still read, write, and speak it. You know, some of us might know a phrase or two in Latin or something. Like a lot of schools, don't they? To try and look impressive, to have a Latin fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like Verde Vidi Vici, I came, I saw, I conquered. That's what my school had. It's fucking embarrassing. Nobody could speak Latin there. Why? But
it's like I can something in Welsh, which is microwave is just pop the ping.
Tooth Dean Bob Sice.
Huh?
I can't remember what it means. I had a Welsh history teacher.
I was like that long thing in Welsh, that place in Welsh.
Oh, that
is
Clang
like...
Diffie one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But why would it split so quick? Now, let's say I got 100 people in a room. All that live in where I live, there's more than one language. Yeah, we all live together. If I got everybody on my street in a room and said, okay, list all the languages you speak, it's not just going to be one, even though we all live in the same place.
Yeah.
And we all came from one place.
So I take it that's why when you take a DNA test and that comes up like
there's bits
Africa,
of everywhere,
just a wee bit.
Yeah, because it's just because your family's moved around. Anybody who says I'm English, I'm born here, my whole family's born here, well, it hasn't. We're all from Africa. All of us. If we started on this planet, we all come from Africa.
Yeah.
So when people say we're all the same, well, we are. We're all from the same place. We're all from Earth. We're all human. We're all just trying to live and do well. But if we all came from one place, how did the language split? Also, if you look at the language like Chinese, if you see Chinese writing, that'd look normal on a spaceship from some other planet. You'd look at that and think, that's alien.
Yeah.
So how did that split so far? If you look at just the letters, the English alphabet, and then Chinese or Mandarin alphabet, there's no way they're even close.
No.
So how did we split spoken, written, yet we can still communicate? And why are some languages better at other things? So expressing yourself in English, you know, I feel like shit, or I'm in love, I'm happy. But if you express yourself in a different language, you could be way more expressive and detailed about how you really feel.
In other words, like the way the Germans speak, it sounds all aggressive and that.
Yeah. But even just the
even
words.
Even if they're saying it nicely.
Yeah, even just the words, though, you can express yourself differently. If I could speak every language on the planet, I could be feeling shit in English, but really be able to get into detail in, I don't know, Russian or Slavic. Why is this? Like, you'd think it'd be one-to-one. I'm having a shit day, and then you could do that in every language and everybody would know what it means. But translations don't work that way. But if we all come from Africa, we all originated in one place, we all spoke the same language, we all developed into humans the same way. Why is it such a difference? Like, I'm not saying that like different languages is bad. I think it's great that there's that many languages. It's impressive. But why doesn't it go one-to-one? And also, if we're that smart of a species, why don't we have a universal language that we can all speak as well? So everybody learns 2 languages: your mother tongue, so your home language, and then universal language. It'd make life easier for everyone. Because if you're in the air and your plane's coming down, you're over a country that you can't speak that language, you can't really ask for help. But if there's this universal language that you can be like, fuck, I can do this, everyone could help each other.
I think that's like how basically our universal language, probably right now, is mostly
It's mostly English.
English, yeah.
Yeah, most countries are taught English. I'm not entirely sure why. Because English isn't an easy language.
No.
It's a mix of about 6 different languages put together. Which is why it's so hard for people to learn, because it doesn't make sense. Like, just the word there. There's 4 different ways it can be used. All spelt differently.
Yep.
We have letters that don't make sound in words. Like, knock. You don't say knock. Why is the K there anyway? It'd be pointless.
Because apparently it's a silent K.
Yeah, but if it's silent, why do we use it? Why didn't we just drop it?
True.
Like, I have 2 first names. I dropped one of them years ago.
Did you?
Yeah, because it's pointless. Because nobody knew me by that, so what was the point in using it? No one says the K in knock. Why the fuck do we have it at the beginning then? It makes no sense. And it's overcomplicating shit too far. If everything was simple, we could probably do better.
So, just say we were to get someone for another universe somewhere, how would we know? Well, how would they know what language to speak? Would it just be automatic?
Well, I think it'd be more point and picture.
Until they understand, basically.
Until either one can work it out. Like, if you're trying to explain a human face, you'd be pointing at the face, so showing this human, this is how we see. You'd point at the eyes, smell. You'd have to do it like you're explaining to a baby.
Ah.
But what's to say they'd come to humans? Dolphins are way smarter than us. Why would they not just go to the dolphins?
Kind of want dolphin.
Also, I have another theory on why we speak so many different languages. So let's say we didn't come from this planet, but we sent our best. Well, we'd have somebody who's very good with different languages, all different alien languages.
Multilinguist.
We'd have somebody who's good at growing shit. We'd have mechanics, engineers, mappers.
Just one everything.
Oh, well, you'd have a couple in case of fatalities.
True.
But let's say half the languages on Earth aren't human. But somebody came here with the knowledge of multiple different languages from different planets. And we thought that's our best bet in case there's anybody on that planet we've got somebody who knows a few different languages who could probably try and communicate.
Yeah, see, that's got me thinking, because I'm thinking, like, you know, you're just talking about that, just saying, well, if we brought 10 people over, but what if it's like just like Noah's Ark?
Or 2 of every
Kind of
species.
this is animals.
Yeah, but imagine trying to transport one of every animal through space. Keeping that alive. The spaceship would have to be huge. Like, the size of a city. It'd be metallic, because it'd have to survive space. There'd be more parts of it we'd find. Because eventually metal will break down into dust, and then we'd never know about it.
Yeah.
But if Bob Lazar was right and one of the spaceships was an archaeological dig, that means some of it survived. But would the spaceship be made out of metals we know? Because iron disintegrate. Over time, it'll disintegrate. Copper turns green, oxidizes, breaks down, gone.
Yeah.
Gold, too weak. If it took an impact, it'd bend. Titanium, very strong, very light, super hard to actually make. And also not radiation proof. So would it be made out of a metal we know? Because when a meteor hits, there's parts of a meteor we don't know what it is, like different metals.
Yeah.
Well, that survived hitting Earth at a huge impact, being set on fire in the atmosphere, and we still can pick it up and look at it. So maybe the spaceship was made out of that same material. What's to say the materials we have here are anything like what they had when they had to abandon planet and get here? Because it doesn't even have to be an abandoned planet. It could have just been an exploration mission.
Yeah.
Like, we're planning on sending people to Mars to look around. Maybe they did the same and thought, this climate's good. I can breathe. There's warmth. There's running water. There's plenty to eat. Why don't we just not go back?
True.
Or did their spaceship crash and the materials on this planet don't exist that they have, couldn't rebuild? They had to stay here.
See, that brings me back to the dinosaur thing about wiping out the dinosaurs. What if we were... how can I put this?
What if we're the cause to the dinosaurs?
Yeah, basically, we were...
You watched Futurama.
Basically, a meteor...
The Area 51 thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the meteorites... Not a meteorite, it's basically part spaceship.
But the question is, how do we know it's a meteorite anyway? We weren't there. We're just assuming a meteor took it out.
True.
Because we have impact craters, and we see them now happening on the moon and some more on our planet from meteors. But why would it have to be a meteor?
Yeah, it could have been a spaceship.
Could have been a solar flare. Could have wiped them out. One of them could kill us now. Just because there's impact craters doesn't mean it's an impact that killed us. I could have a bruise on my arm. That wouldn't explain my headache. It's the same way of looking at it like that.
True.
Something could have hit my arm, but I've already got a headache. Doesn't mean they're connected. So just because there's a meteor hole, a crater, doesn't mean a meteor hit and killed the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs could be dead. That meteor hit. Doesn't matter. They're already dead. What's to say it's a meteor? This was we're guessing at everything, which is, we have to because we weren't there.
Yeah.
It's just guessing makes it hard to know if it's real. Like, I could guess that you got up this morning and had something to eat. I could be wrong. I'm guessing.
You're wrong. Didn't have any.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just a guess. So we're just guessing at everything. Because we got no better option. We can't exactly just look back and go, oh, fuck, it was aliens. We can't just look back and check. We've got no way of doing that.
Yeah.
So we're just guessing anyway. We could be completely wrong. We could find out in 500 years that all of it was bullshit. Dinosaurs didn't even exist. Because we've never got a full skeleton of a single dinosaur. We've got parts of it and we've guessed the rest.
Yeah, they're just basically like printed, well, not printed, but
they are 3D
basically
printed
made
ones.
the rest of the...
We don't have a full T-Rex.
Back in that time, they've just been plastered, the extra bones, put all together.
Yeah.
There you go, there's your dinosaur.
All of us, yeah. But we haven't got a full T-Rex skeleton. We've only got parts. We have a vague idea of what they look like because of the bone structure. But who's to say it didn't have a really long neck? Who's to say it didn't walk on all fours? And the reason the front arms were short is because of its long neck could look up as a defense.
See, that's like the velociraptors. You see it in Jurassic Park, just basically skin. But then you've got people saying that they had feathers.
Yeah, they would have been feathered for warmth.
So which one do you believe? The movies or just what you see in museums?
This is the problem. We're guessing. And if your Noah's Ark theory is right, who said them dinosaurs didn't come from the planet that we came from? If we didn't start on this planet, the Noah's Ark theory, we filled it with animals because we thought we needed them for food. But it turns out when we got here, there was plenty of fucking animals to kill and eat.
True.
And if we're so intelligent, why can't we communicate with anything other than ourselves?
True. So I'm just laughing because Tennis says I've got YouTube playing in the background, just random stuff. One of the things came up is a bit space.
It's because it can hear us.
No, you're coming off. I don't want any things for YouTube.
See, I mean, we could be wrong. We could have started on this planet, and these theories are just wacko theories. You know, if people want to say I'm crazy, go for it. I don't give a fuck. But they can't prove. They can't prove I'm wrong. I could say we didn't come from this planet. You can't prove me wrong. Because we don't know. The same way the way a dinosaur looks, I can't prove you right or wrong. I could say that's a good idea, but this is my idea, and it could be completely different. At the same time, both can be right. They could be right, or I could be right. We don't know.
See, that's what gets me. See, with the dinosaur stuff, they say like alligators and crocodiles are like basically dinosaurs. How are they going to get in that?
Because they found fossils that match crocodiles now, that carbon dating puts them that far back.
What's that? Is fact then, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
But it's still scary, but they're still technically dinosaurs.
Well, the way they
in our universe right
survived
now
is let's go with the Meteor Theory. Yeah, the meteor killed dinosaurs. If they're in the water at the time, they're safe. The water takes most of the impact. Water can help block radiation if you're deep enough.
Yeah.
They could survive. They can eat fish in the water. They don't have to come to land. They can just put their snout up and breathe. So they could have survived. And they're the perfect killers. They use almost no energy to kill. They can eat 100% of the animal. They can decompose the bones inside their stomach. And their body temperature can drop to freezing and they survive. As long as they can breathe. They can slow their heart down enough to survive the winter.
So technically,
they should be top dog.
Dinosaurs.
Well, they should be top dog. Same as turtles. Because you think a turtle can live 150 years.
True, aye.
They almost double the lifespan of an average human.
And yet they're the slowest things on the planet.
But maybe that's why, because they're not putting so much stress on their body.
Huh.
Maybe stupid idea, but let's say your heart has a limited amount of beats. It's predetermined when you're born. If you're always slow and your heart rate's always low, you'd extend your life. It wouldn't have to beat so many times so fast, so you wouldn't die so quick. Maybe that's how they survive longevity. Also, why do humans die so young? We don't live. I know we live way longer than most animals.
Yeah.
But you'd think we could survive longer.
I think it's just because the conditions we're in. No, I suppose because the animals are still in that condition.
Yeah,
that
but
we're in.
if you think the conditions, humans, let's say modern humans have been around for like 50,000 years. That's probably the wrong number, but that's long enough to start changing your body for evolution. It's already happened. We have different eye colours, different skin colours. Why didn't we adapt to live longer?
Because we're a stupid species.
Yeah, but evolution will kick in. It doesn't matter the species intelligence. Evolution changes for you. Like, we have opposable thumbs because we need to be able to grab things.
I was about to say something. I didn't use my thumb to grab this glass, but I was like, fuck. First thing that touches it is the thumb.
Like, I reckon in the next, 1,000, 2,000 years, we'll probably lose the little finger. Because it's not strong enough to grip. You ever try to grip something with just your little finger and your thumb? It feels weird on your little finger. It feels wrong.
Oh, wait, no. Yeah.
But when you grip...
It's got to fall off.
Yeah. Your little finger's usually there just as support.
Well, because I'm holding the glass, my little finger's always
for support.
under the glass.
It's just for support. It's to stabilise it. We don't really use it.
But then...
Like, humans are losing all their hair. We used to be hairier. We don't need it now.
Yeah.
We're losing our hair. To show we don't need it, most people shave their hair, cut it. They don't just leave it to grow forever. So we don't need the body hair. So we're losing it. So evolution's still going. But why is it doing minor changes instead of things that keep us going?
True. So, kind of you says we don't need our, pinky.
Yeah.
Does that mean we need our little toe?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, that's the balance, basically.
Yeah. So when you're running, you run on your toes. When you walk, you're flat-footed. When you walk on your toes, your little toe actually stops you falling left to right, which is why it's shorter. So if you just go to your toes, your little toe will straighten down.
Ah.
So that actually stabilises to stop you leaning one side or the other. Which is why when you break it, you walk weird. Yeah, which is why when you break it, you walk weird. Because the stabilisation's gone for a while.
See, I always thought the stabilisation was because of the ears, basically.
That's to know which way up you are.
Really?
Yeah. It's the fluid in your ears. If you're upside down, fluid builds up in your ears, you know you're upside down. Which is why people in space never know which way up they are, because the fluid's moving differently because there's no gravity. It's not pulling it down. That's why no matter which way an astronaut is, if they're in the space station, they're always the right way up for themselves.
So basically, if I was in space, upside down, to me, the right way round.
There is no upside down in space. We only have right way up now because of gravity pulling us down. If there's no gravity, there's no right way up.
So that's why they just float a bit.
Yeah, so that's why when they sleep, it doesn't matter where they're sleeping, which direction. It doesn't matter. There's no gravity pulling them.
Hey, would you love to sleep in space?
No.
No?
No. I think it would make me dizzy.
Well, you just think you'd be spinning a bit?
Well, it's not the spinning about. It's knowing that there's ground makes humans safe. When you're in the water and you're panicking, all you want is ground. You're almost weightless in water. You want the ground.
Yeah.
You want to feel something solid. Everything we do needs something solid. Yeah. If I'm walking, I need the ground to support me. If I'm drunk, my balance is gone. That's when people start walking weird. You need something firm. Although getting drunk in space would be pretty cool. My question about space is: people on the space station, if you have a fear of heights, can you still go in space? Because the fear of falling had disappeared because you can't fall. You physically can't fall in space. There's no gravity.
True. Because basically you're just floating a bit.
Yeah, so
you're just floating forever.
If you have a fear of heights and you're in space, would your fear of heights stay? Or would it be worse because there's no solid ground? You don't feel grounded anymore.
See, I would still think you would get the feeling, but no getting too much of the feeling.
But would it be worse though because you don't have the solid plant? People who are scared of heights grab onto something that doesn't move because it makes them feel solid.
True.
Well, there's no ground. You're just floating around. So would that put you off more? Because there's no way of grounding yourself. If you're about to fall over, you brace and you grab something. So which stops the fear of falling. It's like, oh, I can stop myself. I'm good. I'm safe. In space, you're just floating. There's no way of... Because even if you grab the space station, there's still no gravity. So your legs could still be just dangling around. So it would feel like you're hanging onto something but could fall down. Or if you plant your feet, your body's still not grounded because there's no gravity, so everything else is still floating around. So would the fear still be there? Or would the knowledge of still not being able to fall remove it? Because you can't fall in space. Unless you get sucked into gravity of a planet.
See, that's a tricky thing, that one, like...
Because you can't fall, but you can't stop yourself falling.
But as you say, but when you're in space, you just float around, so...
But you can't ground yourself, but you can't fall.
Fuck. See, well, technically I've got a wee bit... Not too much fear of heights, but I've kind of just got that wee tiny bit.
See, I don't understand why people have a fear of heights. I've fallen off high things. I've fallen off scaffolding twice.
I fell off scaffoldings and that, but... See, that's the thing, but it's the fear of the fall that gets... Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So, when I was in college, we had to do work placement as part of the course. So you had to get real-world experience. I was on the top of a block of flats. Had 34 floors, and I was just on the roof. No harness.
No.
And the person I was with said, do you have a fear of heights? I said, no. He goes, prove it. Look down. So I leant over. I said, I still don't have a fear of heights. Because I know I can't fall. I feel the ground. He's going, but you can fall. If you slip, you'll fall. But my thinking was, if I slip, I'm going down, not forwards. Because I know how to plant my feet. I play rugby. I know how to hold the ground.
Yeah.
So does that feeling disappear if people have a fear of heights? Like not knowing how to hold yourself. Because if
test that feeling.
If you're stood up straight and I push you, you know to move your legs to restabilize.
Yeah.
I could say it doesn't mean you're not going to fall over, but it's not like you're just going to stand there stiff. I push you and you just topple over like that. You're going to try and stabilize yourself. You're going to fight the force of me pushing.
Yeah, counterbalance, basically.
Yeah, you could still be knocked over, pushed over. But your body knows how to... It's just an instinct. You don't think about it. It's just a whoop, got my footing back, I'm fine. It's not like you had to go, right, I need to move that foot there, that foot there, that foot there, move now. It's just an instinct. Your body just goes, whoop, I'm back stable.
Yep.
And then the other question is, people who have a bad fear of heights, like terrified of heights, how do they react in the ocean? Because you can't ground yourself, but you can see the ground and you know your level. You're not going to fall. You can dive down, but you're not going to fall. Does the fear of heights still work?
I'm probably have to say slightly.
My mum's scared of heights, and we fuck with her when we were kids. We'll go over a bridge and we'll try and shake the bridge. It'd freak her out. Bit of fun.
Yeah, that's like my mum.
Yeah, bit of fun. We used to fuck with her. Same as everything else. Everything scares my family. I don't know what's wrong with them. But again, you'd think evolution would change that. If my parents are scared of something, that fear's in them. When they have me, that fear should be in me. Because my genes come from both of theirs. So if let's say they're both scared of heights. They have me, I should be scared of heights. I'm not scared of heights. I don't fear insects or things that can creep around. My family do. Why was I the different one? Also, size. I am far bigger than any of my family. How did that... Okay, that one I can explain. That was steroids as a kid. That was medical steroids. But it happens. Like you see families where you'll go, mum, dad, son, mum, daughter, another son. Why did they spike?
Yeah, that's like my family, because my mum's small.
That's
Then my dad's...
My mum's 5'5".
My dad's huge. Then my weeest brother is taller than the rest of the family.
And for the non-Scottish people, he means small. Just you know.
Yeah, but I see what you mean, yeah. Because my mum and dad, they're both afraid of heights. I've got a wee bit, but no too much.
But could I force that fear on somebody? Somebody who's not scared of heights. Let's say I attached them. They're fully harnessed. They can't die from this. They've got a harness on. They're still on the edge of a platform, and I pushed them. Would the fear of heights kick in?
Yes.
Even though they know they're attached to the building, they can't die. They've got a harness on. But that quick push, would it make them feel like they're going to fall and die? Or would their brain be like, well, we're harnessed. We can't fall. We're just going to lean off the side.
See, I would test that for you because with Kelly, she's got a really bad...
I mean, we can test it with you. We can climb up to a building. I'm down. I just need you to sign a waiver to say that you agree.
Why me?
Because you said you have a slight fear of heights. I don't.
Yeah, I've got a slight fear of heights.
And there's there's no way you're pushing me either. Like 3 times your size.
Can't I push you? You just move over and that's me over.
Yeah, I'll just pick you up. Fuck off. It's weird. Evolution doesn't make sense. Space, it's huge. And why?
See, that's the thing, but is space infinite?
Well, it's infinitely expanding, which means it's constantly expanding. Eventually, it has to stop because the world's cooling down after the Big Bang. So that's why our sun will eventually burn out. So what some people say, once it's cooled down enough, it'll start shrinking, which is understandable. If I heat metal, it'll expand. As soon as it cools, it shrinks. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Some people say it'll bounce. So it'll get to a point and all of a sudden it'll bounce and start going the other way, which is like shrinking, but it's more of a bounce back effect. Some people say it'll just keep expanding until it's got so cold that it just slowly stops expanding. Doesn't contract, it just stops. Which makes more sense, because yeah, there's millions of particles in the air, everything's connected somehow. But me and you aren't touching each other right now. I can't touch you.
No.
So I technically can't have an effect on you. So if we were running opposite directions, you could get worn out or I could get worn out. If one of us stops, the other one will carry on if they're not worn out.
Yeah.
But if we had a rope, if one of we're going to get to the point where we'll both reach the rope gets tight and we'll get pulled back. Or if I just stop moving and there's still loads of rope and you keep running, eventually you're going to get stopped anyway.
Yeah.
So it could work in many ways.
So I was watching something was it the other night? The other night there, and they were talking because I remember you saying, Ken, you went to talk about space in
Do
that
your
in the
research, yeah?
podcast, and there was something I watched that apparently at the end of the stars, basically it's like a wall, nothing past that, just black space.
That could be true because it hasn't expanded that far yet. Because
But then,
the expansion of space doesn't have to be the dark that we can't see is expanding. That could only be infinite. The expansion could be the stars and that moving further out. So there could be a wall where there's nothing because nothing's expanded that far yet. It all depends on
yeah,
how
because we've
you see
no.
space.
Well, what I was going to say is technically we've no go. Well, we have got the willpower, but we've no way to push it too far, basically.
Well, so Earth's constantly moving.
Hmm.
I don't know how you'd stop it down. Stop it, I mean, or slow it down. But it will eventually slow down.
Hmm.
So is it the fact that the dark, empty space is just there waiting to be populated? Because new stars are getting made all the time,
Yeah.
which could explain the expansion still, because it's making energy, pushing it out. So is it the darkness we
Like,
just haven't filled yet? Like a jug of water. You can keep
hmm.
filling it. The space is already there, but it's empty until you
Yeah.
fill it with water. The same sort of idea.
So I take it that's like, you know, I mentioned earlier about white holes, and you says it was just
White hole's a
emitting
theory.
light.
Yeah, white hole's a theory that everything needs an opposite, which comes to quantum theory. So things can be quantum locked, which should be impossible. So one particle could be one side of space, one could be the other, but their rotation would still affect each other, even though there's no way it should. They'd have to communicate for that to happen, but it happens. We see it happen.
Hmm.
So, which would mean everything has a plus and a minus side, like a battery. So a black hole sucking everything in, white hole pushing everything out. Some scientists think a black hole, when you go through it, you come out of a white hole, because that would be the open
That's what I was
side.
just about to bring up,
Or it could be the
basically.
opposite, as a black hole's just sucking shit in, where a white hole's got so much energy, it's just pushing it back out. It's just pushing shit out. Like an on and off
See, because
switch. If you switch something off, no power's coming out. Switch it on, there's the white hole, power's now coming out.
basically,
Yeah, like a
light
light.
off, light on.
Yeah, but we don't know white holes if they exist.
Hmm.
It's a theory.
Because that was my thing is because I've heard about white holes and obviously I know about black holes. What if the white hole is the end of the black hole, but
That'd prove
in a
quantum locking.
different kind of like?
Yeah, that'd prove quantum lock. That everything has an opposite and they'd have an effect without seeing or being able to communicate. And if that's the case, if I go through a black hole, they say it tears everything apart, but we don't actually know because we can't put anything in to find out. We're not close enough to one. But that
Because
could
all they say is what the black holes
sucks everything in.
pulling in all the stars and all
Yeah,
that. But
it's got so much. So a black hole's formed when stars go supernova.
hmm,
So they burn up everything and start to shrink so far down that their matter's so dense it starts absorbing. Its gravity's so big it pulls everything around it in. But what if a black hole is just a hole in space, and a white hole is just a hole in space? If you go through one, could you come out the other? But the problem with that is, how would you ever work out which one goes to where? Because let's say there's 10 black holes, and we can only see one
mhm.
white hole. Which one of them 10? It might not even be them 10. It could be another one somewhere else. We could never work out. We'd literally be pot lucking it all the way.
There's a 1 in 10 chance of coming out a white hole.
Well, no, it's like 1 in a trillion still, because it doesn't mean that one's even right.
Hmm.
You can end up in an infinite loop just going through black hole, black hole, black hole, black hole, and never finding one.
What do you think's at the end of a black hole,
Death.
in your opinion?
Death. I don't think anything can
So you
survive.
just think it's just death?
Yeah, it's too dense. Gravity's too strong. It can tear anything apart. There's black holes that are eating
Apparently.
galaxies. Yeah. Going on what scientists think, I reckon death. Bro, but I could be wrong. It could literally just be a hole in space. And the reason light doesn't go through it is because we don't see it reflect back. No, because it could be coming out of a different location.
So in other words,
Like if there's a
see
tunnel.
to me,
If there's a tunnel. This is how I'm going to...
yeah.
This is there's a tunnel. I shine light on the left of the tunnel. You can't see it on the right because the tunnel blocks it.
Mm-hmm.
If I now shine the light at the beginning of the tunnel, you'll see it come out the other end. But the people on these sides can't see that light now. So maybe we're just the wrong direction of the black hole to see the exit. Same with a closed and open window.
Yeah.
If there's an open window, I can throw something out and it'll go somewhere. If it's closed, it'll bounce back. So if you're looking at the right side of the black hole, the light could bounce back. But we could just be looking at the wrong side of the black hole and the light just goes through.
See, to me, I think just a black hole is just basically that's it, the end of space.
But there's multiple black holes.
True. But the way I think it is because everything gets sucked in, nobody knows what happens to it. So.
But not everything gets sucked into a black hole. So scientists have been watching a star orbit in a black hole. It's not getting sucked in. Its own gravity is strong enough to resist. So it's like a magnet.
Wow.
It's slowly getting ripped apart, like the outer layers are getting stripped every time it goes around. But it's not been sucked in yet. So the easiest way to say it, so the Milky Way, our galaxy, at the center of it's a black hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if black holes, but if black hole sucks in everything, but you're saying it's the end of space, it'd kill us. We'd be dead. Because black holes get bigger the more they suck in, because their mass gets denser, which means they expand.
Yeah.
So surely the Milky Way would just be sucked up like a Hoover, sucking up dust. But that black hole keeps us inside the Milky Way where it's safe for now.
So what you're saying is the black hole's in the center of the Milky Way, or
yeah, pretty much the center, yeah. And almost every galaxy scientists have ever looked at, there's a black hole in the middle of every one of them. The black hole could be very important because it could be holding the galaxy together because of its gravity keeps it in orbit, same way we orbit a star. Without that, the galaxy could just spread out. So that ruins your black hole, kills everything.
Yep.
But quantum locking's weird though with space. Right? So how's the easiest way to explain this? Okay, 2 phones. That's the easiest way to explain it. I can make a phone call without being in direct contact because they communicate. So I use the satellite to communicate to go down. So quantum locking would be like 2 phones. One, let's just say, in America, one here. Satellites don't exist, but they can somehow still communicate. So we take it further. That phone in America, I now throw it to Mars. Somehow I'm still communicating. They're still interacting with each other. I throw it to the other side of the universe. They're still communicating. Particles communicate without being able to see each other, without being able to send information. How? So the rotation of one particle, let's say it's spinning counterclockwise, its other particle is spinning clockwise. And if one switches, the other one switches at exactly the same time. But then they can't interact with each other. They can't see each other. There's no communication. They're too far apart. That's quantum locking, and we keep seeing it happen in space. How does that work, motherfucker? Also, particles' behavior changes on if someone's watching it. So if they're being observed. So scientists had a slit in a piece of metal and were firing particles through it. When it's been observed, they all went in a nice line. When it wasn't being observed, they just covered it like the metal wasn't there. As soon as it's been observed, they all straightened out and went in a straight line through it. Particles change on whether they're being observed. Now, the argument
they know when they're being watched for some reason.
Well, it could be that, or it could be interference. What we use to monitor them could just be interfering with how the particles react. Radio waves, infrared, all that sort of shit. It could just be interfering. It could just be our equipment is noisy. The same way a microphone will pick up more than you can hear, like we were talking about with the ghosts. It could just be what I'm using to observe it isn't clean. But scientists have continually done this experiment, and no matter what equipment they use, it happens. Even observing it with the eye, it was happening. So without equipment, the eye. But humans could be interfering. Particles are very small. We could be interfering because we give off signals because of all the synapses in our
Yeah.
brain firing. So it could be we interfere as well.
But that's weird. But how they know when they're being watched? But
it might not be they know. It could just be interference.
Hmm.
Same way when you're on the phone and it starts to crackle. That's interference. You're watching TV,
Yeah.
it pixelates for a second or crackles. Interference. We don't see it with our eyes. I can't see the radio wave interfering with the TV or the aerial, but it happens. Same way it could be happening with particles. Particles are so small they're microscopic. You breathe in could throw them miles off course.
True.
But it's weird how they line up when we're watching. Why would me watching? How would my interference make it straighten out? Surely it'd fuck it up and go everywhere.
Yeah.
Why does my observation clean the image? It's like Schrodinger's cat. Have you heard of this theory?
Is that the cat in the box thing?
Yeah, you put a cat in a box,
poison,
and it's gonna get poisoned, but it's also alive and dead at exactly the same time until you observe it. So every outcome happens until you look at it, which could prove parallel universes. So I've done this. Let's say I've done this experiment. I haven't looked in the box yet. So the cat's dead and the cat's alive, because it might have eaten the poison, but it might not have. But both outcomes are true. It can happen both ways. When I observe it, the cat's alive, gets out the box, runs away. But that could split the universe where I open the box, look inside, shit, I've got a dead cat. Now there's two parts, so the universe split. So does that mean every decision we make could split the universe? So there's infinite parallel universes for the infinite decisions a human can make. And if so, can my interaction change your universe? So if I look in the box and the cat's dead, does that impact your life?
Because I can look in the box and the cat could be alive.
You could be in a universe where I never put a cat in a box. So there's me seeing the dead cat in the box when I open it impact your life because in your version, you didn't know I put a cat in a box. So the cat in the box never existed because you didn't know it existed. Because nothing's true until you observe it. So until you see that cat in the box, I never put it in. Yo, this is what a London education gets you, kids.
And this is what a Scottish education gets you. Fucked.
Yeah, he says weed, it doesn't mean piss. So does that prove parallel universes, or does that make them completely implausible because it splits so fast, so many times every second that it can never work?
I'm trying to get this now, and it's just. See, that is weird, that, but.
I can make it super simple if people are confused, right? There's a party with 100 kids. I only have 10 sweets, so I can only give 10 kids something. But the other kids don't know I've given them. I give 10 people something. So there's an outcome where 10 kids get something, the rest don't. There's also another outcome, nobody gets anything because nobody knows I've given them them. Or there's another outcome, different 10 people get them. Until somebody observes me giving it to them specific 10 kids, I could have given them all something and told them all not to say anything. Or I could have given 10 people something and told them not to say anything. It means infinite possibilities. This is 100 divided by 10, if it's people, has a lot of different combinations. So that'd be infinitely moved universe. So if parallel universes work, would it constantly split? Or is there a mirror universe? So dark matter. We know light matter. So positive neutrons. Dark matter would be all negative charge. So it'd be the polar opposite. It'd be dark all the time. There'd be no reflections. Could that universe exist beside us, but we can't see it because we don't see dark matter yet? And we could never visit it because when dark matter hits, so when positive and negative hit, they neutralize each other and disintegrate. So if I fire a positron and negatron, both explode, gone. So that would happen if there was a parallel universe of dark matter. But in that parallel universe, would they know about the matter we use? Because they can't observe it the same way we can't observe dark matter. Or is in space all the voids we see, the dark patches, the cold patches, the radio silent patches, is that dark matter? Because we don't know what it is yet. Because in space there's a big void. So there's loads of galaxies around this void. It's a cold spot. It's like 10 billion light years big. Nothing in it. No planets. No suns. We can't see anything in there. Could that just be all dark matter?
Possibly, yeah.
Or could it just be coincidence that nothing formed there? Because the universe isn't symmetrical.
Hmm.
And if it is just coincidence, why would nothing be in this one specific area? It's a big fucking area. If it's 10 billion light years big, that's bigger than we could ever comprehend. Why would nothing be there? No suns, no stars, no light, no radio waves. Nothing's coming out of it that we can detect. And it's not like it's too far for us to detect, because we can detect planets and galaxies around that cold spot.
Yeah.
So we can see the edges of the cold spot. But we can't. It doesn't look like there's anything in the cold spot. So could that just be a shit ton of dark matter? Could it be there's a black hole block in it? It could be that simple. It could just be a black hole block in it. We don't know. But if it's not a black hole block in it, why did nothing form in there? Coincidences happen, but 10 billion light year coincidence seems ridiculous. Like, I could guess a lottery number. I could probably guess one. Coincidence. If I guessed all of them, genius.
Yeah.
If there's a hole in space, coincidence. If it's 10 billion light years big, that doesn't seem like a coincidence anymore.
Nah.
Now, could that be there used to be life there and the stars burnt out? Like, that was the start of the universe where the Big Bang happened? Which is possible. Could it just be dark there, like just nothing formed? Could it be dark energy, dark matter? Parallel universe, a gateway? Because us knowing about space sort of stops heaven and hell being possible.
True, aye.
I don't know to upset religious people, but space proves heaven and hell can't be real because there's no underworld. The underworld would make the Earth flat; it'd be layered. But Australia's the opposite to the UK. Like, they're the other side of their planet, and we know they're there. So that'd mean the underworld would have to be in between where the iron core is, which nothing can survive. It'd vaporize you. It's that hot. It's like 6,000 degrees. But a lot of religions from all different places around the world most of them have a heaven and hell.
Yeah. And most of the heavens up in space.
Up in the sky, yeah.
Well, hell's meant to be like down in the centre of the earth and all that stuff.
Yeah. Which is why I said it's easier to imagine it as flat, so you can see layers. So land, humans, hell, heaven. But obviously the Earth's round, because we're not stupid.
Should have been that.
Well, okay, technically the Earth's not round. It's an oblate spheroid because it points out slightly on the poles. So technically the Earth's not round. It's an oblate spheroid, which is an impressive word to use, but all it means it's just like an egg shape. It's just a cocky way of saying it. You see, British education pays off. It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird, like.
Also, is life a coincidence in space? That's a ghost. Dude.
Possibly.
That's a ghost. It's from the last episode. Told you you're getting haunted.
No, it's Kelly coming back in.
But is it all a coincidence? Because for us to be alive, we had to be the exact distance that we are from our sun to keep liquid water and an atmosphere. So is it coincidence that we're alive? Or is it super... Because we say life's incredibly hard to have. Yet there's millions of different forms of life on our planet. So it can't be that hard. So is it as simple as it's really easy to make but hard to see? Like hard to detect? Or is it super hard to make and we're fucking lucky? We're one in trillions. And we're the only planet that can harbour life right now.
I think we're just lucky.
That's such a shit way of looking at it, though. Because that means we are alone in space. Like, it's a depressing way to look at it. I'm not saying shit as in a stupid way. It's like a low way to look at it, because that really means we are the only things in space alive. Which could be the case. Like, for all we know, that could be true. I'm not a scientist or whatever the fuck they are that go to space, astronauts. But that's such a down way to look at everything. Like, if we really are that lucky, are we really lucky, or is that just unlucky at that point? Because you can say it's super lucky we're alive. We're super lucky to be here, to be on this planet. But on the other hand, you can say we're actually really unlucky. We're the only life ever to exist, and that will ever exist, and it's all going to be over instantly. Because in terms of space, our planet's like billions of years old. Your average 75-year-old lifespan of a human is a blink of an eye. So are we really lucky, or are we unlucky? If our planet's the only one with life, which I don't think it is. Well, I know it's not, because they found bacteria on one of the moons of another planet, because it has phosphine gas, which is only made by organic material.
Now you just said that, kind of says, I think we're lucky to be here. Now I think we're unlucky. Just the way you put that there, it's just like,
we're just a speck of dust that holds life and can be eliminated and overlooked by anything.
Yep.
Like, in terms of space, our life's nothing. We can't make an impact in space.
No.
Our life's meaningless in terms of space. In terms of being on this planet, our life's not meaningless. You know, you make families, your memories go forever, things like that. But in terms of space, we're nothing.
Yeah.
In terms of space, we're still babies.
True. Being a podcaster.
But in terms of life on other planets, if there is, we're still unlucky.
What? No. You want to talk about space? No. No? Oh, well.
So even if there is life on other planets, yeah? Let's say we're not the only planet. Let's say there's millions of planets with life, right?
Yeah.
We're still unlucky.
True.
Because the Earth's constantly... Not Earth. The universe is constantly expanding, which means we're getting further and further away from every other planet out there. So if there is life, our chances of seeing it are getting lower and lower and lower every second. It's not like our chances are getting higher. Even with our technological advancements, our odds of seeing something are getting lower because we're getting further away.
Yeah.
So is it just shit luck?
Most likely. Don't know if it's working.
Because it could be better. We could be more in the middle of the galaxy we're in, the Milky Way.
Yeah.
The more centered we are, the more planets around us. But we're on the outsides of it. Now, is that lucky or unlucky? Because we're on the outsides, we're safer from things hitting us and colliding, and explosions, but we're further away from other planets. But is that the key to life, that we have to be a distance away from shit?
Possibly.
Because if we were closer, like, let's say we're in the middle of the universe, we're obviously not. Let's say we were. Would we be then just filled with fear because we just see millions of planets going around us and we're always scared one of them's hitting us? Would that slow us down from advancing? Like, you know, kids just look up and stargaze. Would we all be doing that if there was that many planets around us? Because we'd just be like, wow. Instead of being like, okay, we can't see much, let's just get on with some shit. And let's see how far we can go. Because we wouldn't need the telescopes we have. We wouldn't need the scientific equipment we had because we'd be close enough just to see with our eyes.
Yeah.
So would the push for space be that big? Or would that push us more because we're closer to planet? We can get to that planet, we can get to that planet, we can get to that one easy. Would it change how we see it?
It'd probably push us more towards going out and adventuring more a bit.
But would it push
fear?
fear?
The fact is...
Because
that's the thing, the fear.
Let's say we're in the middle and life's still the same as it is now. There's just more planets around us. So we know life exists because we're alive.
Yeah.
That'd make us think life exists everywhere. Look at all these planets around us. We're alive. They're all alive. They might want to kill us. They might want to take our planet. Let's stay quiet. Would it change us that way? Or would it push us? There's life out there. Let's go fucking find it. We're close enough. It could work both ways.
Yeah.
We could be scared, or we could be excited. So is it better that we're on the outside, or would it be better if we were closer to other planets? Because other planets could stop us from ever becoming alive.
That probably put more fear into us if we were just on the outside of it.
But does fear help us?
Fear helps most people.
If you're scared to do something, and I make you do it, and then you're excited and the adrenaline's kicked in, you're way happier now you've done it than just sitting there saying you're scared. So does fear help?
Possibly.
Because it could work both ways.
Yeah.
Because life's fairly simple right now. You wake up, you get on with your day, you go to bed, eat, breed. Pretty much what human life is.
Yeah.
If we were surrounded by other life, would humans still work the same way we work now? Would we want to just breed and keep civilization going? Knowing let's say right now I could prove there's life on every planet. Would we be that worried about keeping our civilization going the way it is?
No, because we would want to change it.
Which could make it worse. Or could it make it better?
Maybe, Ben.
I'm saying, would it ever work?
I don't think it would work.
But why?
Yeah.
Also, nice movement of the camera. I saw that. There's a cat behind you as well.
It's not just the cat. Kelly's came in as well now, so.
Yeah, she's eating. I can see the bag of food. It's okay. We'll send her a link to the podcast. Tell her to subscribe.
He's going to send you a link to the podcast so you can subscribe.
And you can see your own reflection. It's terrifying. We were doing Ghost last week.
No, we were doing Ghost last week. You could have joined us that time. Just walked past me.
Would have worked.
She doesn't want to be on camera.
Oh, we'll put a picture of her in the edit. Don't worry. We'll put a link.
Just use
we'll put a link.
We'll
put a link to our Facebook page.
John's putting a link to your Facebook page.
What do you mean?
She didn't want to be on camera.
So he's going to put a link to your Facebook page so people can see you.
You give him a wave.
Yeah, give him a wee wave.
Why are you hiding? We've all seen your face before. It's terrifying.
Everyone's seen your face.
I mean, Kelly came in at the right time when we were talking about life on other planets, because she does look... No, just kidding. Dude, do you think humans would fuck it up? Do you think humans would fuck it up, though, if there's aliens? Do you think we'd try and fuck an alien? That's my worry.
Yes.
If we find an alien species, we're one, going to beat them to death, or two, we're going to fuck them.
Somebody's got to fuck them somewhere.
I get quite bored. I don't know which way I'd go. Depends what mood I'm in. I'd rather kill it with a hammer or fuck it.
So it just depends on what mood you're in then, basically.
But yeah, it just depends how the day's gone. But somebody'd fuck an alien and we'd end up with weird hybrids. Or aliens could come here and look like us. What would freak you out more? If an alien came to this planet, he said it came from another planet, it's like solar system, and it looked weird, like it had tentacles or something, or would it freak you out more if it looked like a human?
I think it would freak me out more if it looked more like a human.
But why? Wouldn't it make more sense that we're the intelligent species of this planet with all the space shit we have? Wouldn't it make sense that they'd look similar?
Sure.
Or would it make more sense that they look different and that's how they survived the journey to the planet? Like if they had tentacles, they didn't need oxygen to breathe, would it make more sense?
Now it change.
It's a confusing one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why? Because no matter which one you pick, it looks like human. Well, why would that make more sense? But if you say looks completely weird, tentacles, doesn't need oxygen, well, why? Why would that make more sense? Like, there's no right or wrong answer because neither one of them make sense over the other one. Because you could say if they look like us, they act like us, they built the same way we did. Okay. If they looked weird, didn't need oxygen, well, that's how they survived getting here. That'd make it easier. That'd make more sense. But why would that species have been on top of another species from that planet?
True.
Either one makes no sense. And while your mind's blown, Brian, is there anything else you want to add? Because we're at 2 hours.
2 hours already?
Yeah. So, if you want, we can call it there and let your brain cool down. Well, I won't let your brain cool down, because what people don't realise is right after the podcast, we're going live, so...
Yeah. I would just call the podcast here.
You got nothing else to add.
Go live.
You want to shout yourself out, Brian? I forgot to put your link in the last one, so you have to shout yourself out. On whatever platforms you're on.
I'm on...
You don't need to shout out your Twitter, though, because that's on screen.
Twitch, which is Mr. Editor 1988. And YouTube is Green Steel 1888.
And if he doesn't post in the next 2 days, we will beat the shit out of him.
Oh.
So you better be live right now. No, you won't be live when this video's out, because it'll go out at like 3 in the morning. But you'll be live right after we record.
Yes.
Alright, so I think that's it then. Don't forget, aliens are going to probe you. You're a speck of dust in space. No, they've looked at her, dude. Don't want that.
Oh.
Just
the aliens didn't want you. You're fine.
Just remember, we're all a speck of dust in the universe. Our life's probably meaningless. We probably won't find anything out there.
Wait, so is it?
Yeah.